exactly one time.
Really? Too graphic, too violent, too...
I have ADHD, so it's a hard job. Just ask.
Yeah. Well, it's quite intense. But there's an episode where Jensen's character goes into an orgy, and they hire this whole huge cast of porn stars. Real porn stars, those were real porn actors who were really doing porn. And Jensen walked in to the set for the first time, and he was like, "Oh my God, they're paying me to be here." Because all of the porn that Jensen has shot previously, he had done as a volunteer. Thank you very much for that question.
Thank you, Misha.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
I just wondered, what's the best concert you've ever been to?
Wow. I would say the best concert I've ever been to was the first concert I ever went to, so it had this particular meaning to me. I was kind of raised at times sort of off the grid, and we didn't have a television for most of my childhood, so I had these LPs, and I listened to certain records over and over again, and one of them was a Donovan LP from like the 1970s, and then I found out that Donovan was playing, and I went to a Donovan concert in this little coffee house. There was probably only, I don't know, 100 people in the audience, but it was like this guy that I listened to over and over again. I was probably only, I don't know, 12 or 13 years old when I saw it, but I could not believe that you could actually see in person one of the musicians that you knew all of the songs of. That was pretty cool for me. What about you?
Oh gosh, I've been to a lot, because that's kind of like this is my daughter with me. I've gotten her the bug too, like we love to go to concerts. Probably the most recent one, we went to see Gracie Abrams, and we flew from here to Denver to go see her. And we were like up on a raised, kind of like a balcony, because I didn't want to deal with being down like in the middle of all these teenage girls. And she actually sang part of a song to my daughter, like while she was on the stage, and I got it on video.
Wait, so your daughter went up on stage?
No, like we were in the balcony, and Gracie like sang to her for like a little bit of the song, but we got it on video, and it was like the coolest experience ever.
Well, that's awesome.
So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, that was probably the best one recently.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw a Prince concert too. That was pretty cool before he died. Awesome. Thanks. Hi.
Hey Misha, my name is Billy.
Hi, Billy.
I've got a friend that lives in Mobile, Alabama. She runs a record store.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what are you listening to? What's on your playlist?
I have been listening to a lot of songs that my children are making me listen to, which includes things like Katy Perry and Billie Eilish and Taylor Swift and Imagine Dragons, and I feel like I have my finger on the pulse of what the youth of the day are listening to, and I don't know if you know this, but it's an important fact, and one that you should know. Billie Eilish named her cat Misha after me. This is a true story. And we had been listening to Billie Eilish songs for a long time. And I told the kids when I found out, I was like, hey guys, did you know that Billie Eilish named her cat Misha after me, your father? The person who was driving this car right now? And they said, shut up, Dad. And they wouldn't believe me at first, and then when I finally convinced them that this was true, they said, why do you always brag so much? Like, what's the point of having Billie Eilish name her cat after you if not even your children are impressed? It made me furious. So I turned the music off. Thank you for asking that question. Hi.
Hi, Misha. My name is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
So my question is, or I don't know, I guess it's kind of a question, and I figured it could kind of apply to kind of everybody out there.
Okay, so it's a question for everybody. This is going to take a while to answer.
So I'm a sophomore in high school right now, and over the last couple of years, I just felt like I haven't found my groove, and I just haven't felt like I'm fitting in, and it's just been kind of tough. And I was wondering if there was anything, any, I guess, like life advice you would have to help out with that, and like I said, maybe this applies to anybody else out there too. So.
No, so unfortunately, most of these people feel like they fit in. Supernatural fans are kind of conformist, generally speaking. When you say you feel like you don't fit in, what does that mean for you?
I guess it's just like, if I'm in a room full of people, just like I'm not on the same wavelength as them, you know? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Totally. I think I actually talk about this a little bit in my show tonight, but when I was a kid, I felt like I did not fit in at all. And the truth is, I actually didn't fit in. I was a pretty weird kid. But it's actually something I think that we all go through at different stages of development in different ways. And I think that finding your way to not needing or even wanting to fit in is the most empowering thing you can possibly do. Realizing like one of the most wonderful things about getting older for me has been the ever increasing arc of not caring. And realizing that I think that this was my experience, and I don't know if this is true of you or not, but when I was younger, I spent a lot of time worrying about what other people were thinking about me, and really concerned that other people were judging me, or that I was coming off badly, or that I had embarrassed myself, or that I wasn't cool, or that I wasn't fitting in. And as I got older, I realized nobody cares about anyone but themselves. They're not paying attention to me, or when they do, it is so glancing and so insignificant, and it just doesn't matter in the long sweep of life. So you gain some real power from shedding the concern of other people's perspective of you. And there's no easy formula for that, but just being aware that, generally speaking, if someone judges you, they stop thinking about it 10 minutes later and they move on to something else, and it actually doesn't stay with you for the rest of your life. It's all a fleeting, passing experience. And also, another true fact is that for some fucking reason, young people feel like they really want to fit in with each other. And then when you get older, everybody realizes it's much cooler not to fit in. You want to stand out and not be like everyone else when you get older. And for some reason, there's this like developmental lag. We get stuck as kids and young people thinking that conforming is cool, when actually non-conforming is the cool thing, and you figure that out later. So good luck. Life is hard. Thanks.
This is kind of an important question, especially for me and my family. I brought my sister here, and it's her first convention. She absolutely loves you. She's out in the crowd. But my question is, how does it make you feel knowing the positive impact that you've made on people's lives, even if it was just by the role or the character that you played in the TV show?
Well, I think coming to these, thank you by the way, that is a very sweet question and one that I don't feel worthy of. But I would say that coming to these events, these conventions, you know, when we're filming a TV show, generally speaking, we're performing just for the camera, and maybe the camera crew and the sound crew, and they're sick of us. So we don't really get to see how what we create impacts people, and how the stories resonate with people. And we on Supernatural happen to be lucky that there's this like really coalesced fandom that wants to get together, meet with each other, and listen to us ramble. And being at these events, we get to have the experience of hearing people say things like what you just said, or saying like, oh, you know, Castiel really meant a lot to me. I saw a lot of myself. You know, I can't tell you how many people I've met who say like, you know, I have autism, and Castiel seemed like it was a representation of me on the screen, and it's really been helpful to see that character. Or I'm non-binary, and seeing a character that I had loved for so long have a homosexual declaration of love for another man has been so empowering for me. Hearing those stories and the way in which our stupid TV show has resonated with people has been really rewarding for me. Because otherwise, without that, I think sometimes it can feel like what we're doing is just sort of popcorn entertainment with no substance whatsoever. And so to hear occasionally that somehow it has touched people or have made an impact is actually quite lovely and meaningful for us. So thanks.
Thank you.
I was sad that Cass wasn't in the final episode of Supernatural, but at least we know he's not suffering in the empty, and he helped to remake Heaven.
Yes.
So once Tim and Jack figured out the big things, what little frivolous things do you think Cass threw in to make everyone's afterlife real top-notch?
Well, so you remember we saw quite frequently the Heaven in Supernatural, right? And those long hallways with those doors and the overhead fluorescent lighting. The decor was terrible. So when Cass and Jack went to spruce up Heaven, don't forget that they're imbued with almost omnipotent powers at that point, right? So the opportunity to revamp Heaven and those corridors, actually put in some windows and some skylights, which was really nice because that natural lighting really helps with seasonal effectiveness disorder, and the angels were getting really depressed in those hallways. So, yeah, but it's been mostly interior decoration. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hi, Misha and Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
I think we can all agree we love you and we want to inundate you with every compliment on earth. I was wondering, what is your most bizarre compliment you've ever gotten?
God, I don't know. My mind's a blank. I can't think of anything. I guess I hear quite a lot when I'm at these events, particularly. Oh, you're not as short as I thought. And people say it like, oh, that's a compliment. But I think that people assume that I'm a midget because I work with a giant. In television, I don't know if you know this, but in film and television, typically, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but like the way cameras work and the proportions and head sizes or whatever, generally speaking, actors are tiny little elves. They're very small people normally. So your typical, like Tom Cruise, I think is like up to here or something like that. Like, he's 5'6". He's up to here. So like a lot of movie stars, Brad Pitt is not tall. A lot of successful actors are quite small. And I had done a bunch of guest starring roles on various different things. And I remember one of the problems was I would watch the final product and I'd be like, Misha, you got to figure out how to deal with this. Like bend your knees or something, because it looked like I'm just bending over and talking to people like I'm a giant. And I got on Supernatural, and I remember I was like just a few episodes in, and we were in one of those like motels that Sam and Dean have, and I was like running into Jared. Sam is coming in the door, and Cass is going out the door or something, and I keep running into him, and I'm like, you know, my forehead is bumping into his shoulder, and I looked up, and I was like, we had to do like 5 takes because every time I would just start laughing. And then finally Jared was like, what is so funny? And I was like, I don't know, you seem so ridiculously tall. But that's totally unusual in film and television, and so people have rightfully thought that I was a dwarf. And I get that quasi-compliment quite frequently. Have you gotten any good weird compliments?
I don't know. I've been told I have too much personality, but that's probably not really a compliment.
No, it doesn't sound like it. Well, thank you. Bye. Hi.
Hi, Misha. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So I have recently left Hollywood in the industry and moved here to start over. And
Congratulations.
It's a beast out there. And I feel as though sometimes people view starting over as failure. And I feel like you've had maybe a few start-overs in life, and I think you've vocalized some of those. So I'm just wondering if you have advice for anyone who keeps hearing the failure for start-overs.
What were you doing in Hollywood?
I was in music supervision and clearance and licensing. It was great.
Yeah?
Great. I loved it. But there's other things in life.
Yeah. I love starting over. I think it is such an exciting moment. I loved ending Supernatural and feeling like there was a new chapter coming and not knowing what to fill that space with, and then having the project of figuring it out, which I feel like I'm still in the process of doing. But that's where I just think that that's where the richness of life actually presents itself. And I think having trust in the world that you're going to find the right thing sometimes takes courage and a leap of faith, but when you can allow that to happen, really amazing things come in to fill the void, you know? So it's going to work out. I believe that for you. And good luck, and you're not a failure. I heard such an amazing quote, and I don't remember who it was that said it or what podcast it was on. But it was this guy who's like had this incredible career. He's written like 50 different books, and he keeps starting over and switching to a totally new career over and over again. And it was like every time he feels like he's gotten what he needs to get out of that work, that career, that job, then instead of like taking that and glomming onto it and trying to make it more and better when it's no longer fulfilling to him, he just quits. And he feels like it's necessary for there to be a void into which the next thing comes, rather than having a bridge where you know what the next thing is that takes you out of the last thing, because that he felt like was like a safety mechanism that would prevent him from actually finding the best thing. And I thought that was incredible framing. And I wish, if I see you again, I'm gonna look through my podcasts and try to find what the hell it is I'm referencing, because I thought it was super inspiring. And the retelling is completely useless because I know none of the details. But I'll try to find you later and share that with you.
I think just hearing that it's no longer fulfilling.
Right. Like, what's the point of getting stuck in a dead end, or not dead end, just stuck in a job where you're not feeling like you're growing and being enriched by the experience? You know, there are a lot of different ways you can make money in life, but you only have one life, so might as well be really fulfilling and interesting, you know? Yeah, good luck. Hi.
Hi, Misha. I'm Kayla.
Hi, Kayla.
I was wondering, what is your funniest childhood memory?
Jesus. My funniest childhood memory. Do you have a funny childhood memory? Maybe it'll help jog my memory here.
Well, I once ran headfirst into a toilet.
It wasn't funny in the moment. Like,
No, it doesn't. Were you so small that your head was at toilet height?
Yes, I was like 5 or so, and we had a really long hallway in the bathroom in the hall. We were always told, not to run down the hallway, and I ran down the hallway and slipped and just went right into the toilet.
Aw, that's a sweet story. That's one of those things you wish you had a home video of, huh? We had a dog who we lived on a river, and we had a dog whose name was Bear, and we used to throw sticks into the river, and the dog would run into the river and come back out with a stick, and then we'd throw it again, and the dog would come back out. And one time I threw the stick into the river, and the dog chased after the stick, and then came back out of the river. But when he came back out, he was a giant, it was a black lab. And when he came back out of the river, he had turned into a giant, like 12-foot tall big bird, a black big bird. And it scared the shit out of me. And I was afraid of that dog for years after that, because I was always like looking and waiting for when he would turn back into Big Bird again, because I knew he had these magical powers. And I was the only one that had seen it. Nobody else in the family had seen this happen. But I knew it happened because I saw it with my own eyes. And I was 5 when that happened. And when I was 8 and I was going to a new school, I started at a new school, and I told my classmates what had happened to my dog, because we still had this dog. And my classmates looked at me like I was crazy, which kept happening with this story. And then I suddenly realized, oh, that was a dream. I had carried it with me and been telling everybody about this thing that happened, trying to get somebody to believe me. And it took me years to figure out. I just needed that light switch trick, Thanks. Hi.
Hi, Misha. My name is Kinsley.
Hi, Kinsley.
And I have a bit of a philosophical question.
Oh, wonderful.
My question is, if you could pick a card from a classic poker deck that best represents who you are, which card would you pick and why?
The Joker. Yeah, because you can use it for anything, and it's completely worthless in most games. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, Misha. I'm Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
I love horror movies, and I'm not sure if you do. I think I remember you saying something about being scared of supernatural.
Yes.
But if you could star as a killer in a horror movie, what would be your weapon and your calling card, like your shtick?
You are right, by the way. I am constitutionally incapable of watching scary things. I watched the movie Seven. Some friends of mine in college were like, oh yeah, you want to go to the movies? We'll go see this movie Seven that's in the theaters. And I wound up under the seats in the movie theater, covering my ears and not even wanting to feel the vibration through the seat of the sounds. It was like, I cannot take it. I'm not good enough at reminding myself that what I'm watching is not real. I get too wrapped up in what I'm watching. And when I got on Supernatural, I thought, well, I should probably watch some of this to see what's going on, because all I really knew about it when I got on the show was that I had seen these 2 underwear models on advertisements on bus stations. And so I started watching it. If I watched 2 episodes in an evening, for sure I would have a nightmare afterwards. So I had to parse it out. I had to watch the episodes earlier in the day so that I could go to sleep. That's what a wuss I am. So when you talk about what kind of a serial killer I would want to be, I think I would probably want to... What kind of a question is this?
I'm a scare actor at a haunted an attraction. I also do,
Hey, have you ever caused anyone to have a heart attack?
no, but I've caused someone to faint twice in the line waiting to get into the attraction.
The same person?
The
So
same
it takes a particularly twisted individual to go back to the person who fainted the first time and see if you can do it again. So your job is literally to go up to people and scare them?
Yeah, so think of the characters at like Disney World or whatever that walk around, but in horror themed. So I walk around in a midway while they're standing in line, and my best scare is I'm really stealthy, so I can sneak up to somebody this close, and they don't even know I'm standing there until last minute.
Do you touch them or do you just scream at them?
No, I don't scream at them. I'm a non-verbal character.
I see.
And, but I'm really freaky looking. But no, I don't scream and I don't touch unless we're taking a photo.
I see. So how the hell do you scare somebody if you don't touch them and you don't make sounds?
Trust me, it's really easy. There's shadows and lighting and all this stuff, and they're amped up and they're...
Wow. I look forward to you sneaking up behind me at some point this weekend and scaring the shit out of me.
I don't do that in my entire life. I mean, like, I scare people and don't mean to.
Well, you scared me with your question, so I think that's good. I think I probably would like to do something. I would like to. This is like the kind of thing that would like ruin someone's political career later. Answering this question, I think I'd like to do something with like a something nice and manly, like a chainsaw. Come after people. And it's not very subtle, I know. But it's satisfying and I know how to operate one, so yeah, I think that would be a good approach. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it's a really sweet question. Thank you.
Hi, Misha.
Hi. Did you say your name is Hannah?
Emma.
Emma. Hi, Emma.
My question is, what was your favorite scene to film as Casifer?
There was a scene when I was Casper. There was a scene where we were in this like office, and there were all of these like extras in the room. And I think I ended up like sitting on some of their laps and like kind of fondling. Unlike her, I was like touching people, and I thought that was kind of fun to be like using these other actors more or less as chew toys and props, and it was so wildly different from what Castiel would ever do. You know, he was always just so, you know, he was not terribly physical with most of the other actors that he worked with. So that was a lot of fun for me. Casifer was a super fun character for me to play. I just had fun being that character. I had gone into, the day that I started filming the Casifer character, that morning I went over to Mark Pellegrino's apartment because he had been Lucifer up until that point, and I said, "Hey, can you give me any tips on how to play this character?" And he said, "Well, the main thing is that in every scene in my head, I'm asking the question about the other character in the room: do I want to fuck them or kill them?" And that really informed how I played the character. It was pretty useful. Yeah. Thanks for asking that. This is a kind of momentous occasion, I think, because I don't think I've ever actually gotten through the line of questions before. Are you also a question? That's amazing. I don't think it's ever happened before in the history of these conventions. Hi. Hi, Shauna.
I am a kindergarten teacher.
Well, thank you for your service.
At the beginning of every school year, I send home a paper for parents to fill out and give me some tips about their students so I can get to know them a little bit better. This year, I have several students that I have taught older siblings. This one child in particular, adorable child. The mom, all she wrote was, "Don't fall for the dimples, it's a trap." And he has the cutest dimples. So my question to you is what would be your, what's the word? Yes, thank you. See, my brain is mush. What would be the warning that you would give to your teacher about you? Or give a teacher about you?
Well, I think that I have like this, I have this public-facing personality, which is like, I think a little bit less impish than I really am in real life. Like my girlfriend said just a couple of days ago, she was like, if your fans had any idea that you were like this, you wouldn't have any fans anymore. Which I thought was so sweet. Hi guys. Yeah, you think you know me, but you don't. How about that?
Yeah, that's how I feel when I see these kids come back. Because I remember when they were born, because I taught their older siblings, and when they come in, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to teach you, and then I'm like, no.
Turns out they're monsters. Yes, right, yeah. Thank you very much. Bye. Guys, guess what? What? For the first time in history, I got through every single question. No. There is no last question.
Wow.
Yeah, I did a lot of passes. Next. That was an inappropriate question. I'm not answering it. Move on. Yeah.
Hey, you got through.
But I got through, yeah. And that's what's important.
Yeah.
How did you guys, how was your last hour? How did it go?
It was great. We had chicken strips.
Yeah, we got to eat.
Wow, yeah, cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Tell us more about that.
Well, we had chicken strips.
You chewed them and it went into our belly.
Wow, that's really cool.
It was something.
That's the forever thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the questions he has, so we can finally wrap this up officially.